Well, good morning everybody. How y'all doing? Pretty good here, and welcome to the channel. I was out driving around in the Tacoma this morning, and I was thinking, there are a few things on this truck that, in my opinion, are useless, that we don't need, or at least that I don't need. And keep in mind, I do have the Sport TRD version, not the off-road. So there are a few things on here that I think should be replaced with maybe some more useful features, and I think that by removing the things that I'm going to go over, there'd be enough money in the truck that it'd be very little impact on sticker price to put these things in instead of some of the options that are on it now. So we're going to go out to the truck here, and I'm going to tell you guys what I think are the top, let's see, I have a list of 6 things here that I think should be removed or deleted, and the things that I think should be added in their place. All right, let's hop in. We're going to start on the inside because most of these are interior options, I guess. Let's go ahead and hop up in here. And the first thing that I'm going to start with, get my little list here out of the way, is the charging station. They put a charging station in here and a button to activate that charging station, which you guys can see. Here's the charging station, of course, underneath. And here's the button that you use to turn it off and on. Now, if you have a phone that's compatible with this, I suppose that you might say that's a necessary feature and you need it, but it doesn't work with the iPhone. And there are a lot of us iPhone users out there. And for me, it's just a useless option. It's included in the price of the car. I mean, or the truck rather. There is a price associated with this, of course, that's in your sticker. You pay for these things. They don't throw them in for free. So for me, it's absolutely useless. Right now, I actually have a little mat thing on it from Tough Skins, actually, that covers this up because I don't have any use for it. I paid for it, but I don't use it. So that's the first item that I would delete in order to put in some other things that I'm going to go over here at the end. Let's get rid of that charging thing. Just isn't useful for me anyway. The next thing is this steering wheel button. Now, the other ones are useful. I mean, you have, your selectors for different things here on the cluster, and then volume knobs and all that stuff, and whatever. But this button here, this phone button, I never use that, and I don't use it because right over here is this big giant screen with touch buttons on that I can do the same thing. In other words, hang up and answer calls. I don't know if you guys use that button. I've never touched it, and I've never touched it in any other vehicle I've had. I think most recently all of the vehicles that I have that have Bluetooth in them have this button right here. Now again, it may seem like a small thing, but it is incorporated into the price of the sticker. We pay for that button. Why? We don't need that. I don't need that. The next thing is the GoPro mount. Now, it is, of course, located right up here. You guys can hopefully see right there. I know it's a little dark. We're looking into the sun. If I come back a little. The Tacoma, over the last several years, probably since the popularity of the GoPro camera, which I'm using right now, started, have included this GoPro mount. Now, it is a neat little thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of these things are neat little, flashy little things, But do you actually use that? I mean, I shoot videos for a living, right? I do this for a living, YouTube stuff, these kind of videos. And I've never used that once. And the reason I don't, there's a couple reasons. One, if you've ever tried to use it, it's very difficult to get their little holder in and out of that thing. I mean, it's a tight fit, and it needs to be because you want your camera to stay, mounted to wherever you're going to put it. But it makes it very difficult to use, especially if you're trying to use it on the fly. You don't want to be fiddling with this thing, while you're driving around. I mean, you'd have to reach across, and it is rather difficult to get their holder in and out. Secondly, there's not much room. I mean, if you're familiar with the GoPro, it's just this little square box, right, about yay big. So unless you put some other kind of holder on it, which of course GoPro sells for more money, it's really not useful at all. You can't stick your camera up there without any other kind of extension or holding device and make use of that in any way. So again, it's something that you're paying for in the price of the car, the truck, that is absolutely useless. I've never used it, and again, I do this for a living, so let's get rid of it. Let's put that money towards something else that that's going to benefit the owner. The next thing we're going to have to, well, we actually have one more inside the truck here that I'm going to mention briefly, and this one's just kind of funny. This center console area, you know, they have this square area. Now, as you can see, I put change in there, which it works great for. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad that that's there for me to put change in. But why is that not round like this one? You know, how much more room can that take up? I don't know. Maybe you could extend this a little further, bring it a little further back. I mean, we're talking about, what, half an inch, maybe an inch? So that I could use this as another cup holder. It makes no sense to me. You know, one of the big jokes or comments on the web about the Tacoma is, what do you do with that? What's the purpose of it? Well, some people say it's a juice box holder. You know, it's square. You sit your juice box in there. I don't know, but it really is kind of useless for what it could be. I think that ought to be just a round cup holder, and I can't imagine it would cost any more to make that thing round as opposed to designing it square. I'm sure there's a reason for it. I don't know what it is. Next, we're gonna step outside of the bed here, or the bed. Well, we're gonna go to the bed, and this one might not be very popular. I don't know. Keep in mind again that I drive a sport, not an off-road. But going back here to the back of the bed, we'll open the tailgate up here. Couple of things back here. We have these storage compartments. Now, again, they're very cool. I mean, I think they're very neat that they're there. But what do you do with them? I did a video a little while back, sprayed some water on them to try to see if they were waterproof in any way, and they're not. So if you're going to store anything in there, you either have to store it inside of some sort of a baggie or something, or put things in there that aren't going to be damaged by water. And third, maybe you could put some weather stripping or something around the inside of the door on these things so that water couldn't get in. I don't know. But again, they're very cool. They're very neat, very flashy little things to put in here. But they don't really serve any purpose, at least for people like me. I don't use them. Let's eliminate those and put the money towards something else. Now, the last one probably might be rather controversial, I'm not sure. This bed plug. You know, we have the bed plug here, and then we also have a switch inside. I think there's actually, let's check it out. I think there's actually two switches in there. There's one here, of course, and then there's another switch over here. So we have a lot of things tied up in that switch. The wiring, the switches themselves, the outlet that's over here. We'll open that up so you guys can see in. You know, it has a nice three-prong plug there. And again, don't get me wrong, it's very cool that it's there. I mean, it's nice to know that it's there, and I suppose if you're, you know, out on a camping trip somewhere or stranded in the mall and your hair gets wet, you need to plug a hairdryer in, you could probably use it for that. But realistically, how many people actually use that? Again, keeping in mind this is the sport version, not the off-road. I understand for you off-road guys, you know, who go camping or whatever, you might want to use that. But I got to think that most of the people that buy the #1 mid-size truck, or small truck some people might call it, have absolutely no use for that. Again, let's eliminate it and put the money somewhere else. Now, you might be wondering, all right, you're going to eliminate all these things. We're not going to spend it on these crazy little options, so where are we going to put the money? Well, here's where I would put the money. First of all, and I'm going to kind of name this the mall crawler package. I think they ought to have two different options on this truck. One, let's call it an off-road package, or maybe a, I don't know, a camping package, since they have the off-road trim level. let's call it the camping package, where we'll leave all those things on that I mentioned, or at least most of them, like the plug. But this is going to be the mall crawler package, the mall, or maybe we'll call it the suburban package. And in that, by eliminating all these things, I would add automatic headlights. You know, they are so convenient and nice to have. You just set it on auto, you forget about it, and they work themselves. I miss that, not having that in this Tacoma. Rain sensing wipers. Again, if you're driving in the city, you know, it starts to pour down rain, whatever. Nice to just sit that thing on auto, and they just take off, clean your windshield as needed, you know. More charging ports. You know, in this tech-laden world that we live in right now, it'd be nice to have more charging ports and stuff in this truck. Especially if you have kids. If you have kids that ride in the back and they're plugging all their gadgets and everything in all over the place, it'd be nice to have more places to put them in. And how much does a charging port cost? You know, can't be much. And lastly, auto climate control. It would be nice to be able to set your thermostat where you want it, have the air kick on, have the heat kick on, you know, whatever, and not have to screw with it. So those are the things that I would substitute or replace for all of those other what I call useless options that don't really serve any purpose for someone like me anyway. And I've got to think that I'm not alone. I would imagine that most people that buy this truck don't take it off-roading and don't take it camping. They're mall crawlers like me. Pavement princesses. So that's what I think. Let me know what you guys think. Am I nuts? You know, probably. Anyway, appreciate you guys watching. Please leave a comment down below. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Click that subscribe button if you haven't before. And we'll see you next time on the web. Have a great day. Bye.